Good morning and a very warm welcome to today's going public of SUSE on Frankfurt floor and Xetra. We start with the broadcast now. My name's Edda and I will accompany you through the next half hour. What do you have to expect? At first I will give you a little warm up and tell you some facts about SUSE if you don't know them. Then some words about the transaction and the venue here and of course of Deutsche Börse. And then around 9 you will be welcomed by our management. Thomas Bog, member of the executive board of Deutsche Börse, will welcome you. And then you will have a few messages from SUSE itself, of course. They are the main actors here. They are why we are all here. And around 9:15 there will be a first price fixed on Xetra, the trading venue, the international big trading venue, operated by Deutsche Börse and on the Frankfurt floor simultaneously. I will explain more about that later. If you observe this ceremony here, which is going to be very exciting, on one of our social media channels, on YouTube or on Facebook or Twitter, you can ask if you have a chat available and we try to answer your questions. So welcome to everybody to today's IPO of SUSE. First, a few words about what you see here. Normally, if we're having going public, start of trading of a company that goes public on the exchange, you have a lot of people here. It's very crowded and it's very exciting because you can imagine that after a lot of months of hard work for the company, they're giving it away to the public because they are going to be traded. And the first price is then the evaluation of the market. And that's one of the last really exciting things on an exchange, on a trading floor, because of course trading now is digital but there you have people normally in not pandemic situations. And so now today, it's just a few people from Deutsche Börse. They will welcome, nevertheless, very heartily SUSE, and of course SUSE will be part in it as well. So welcome to all spectators here on our broadcast of the going public this morning on Frankfurt floor and on Xetra. A few words about the company, of course. They are the major thing here this morning, SUSE. It's a digital tech company, an open source specialist. I had to learn a lot of new words. And they have been founded in 1992 in Nuremberg. But now, of course, very international, spread out. And they were the first company to market Linux for enterprises. I'm sure you all remember Linux. Still very vivid, and that's one of their major projects. They are the market leaders for Linux systems, for enterprises in the B2B market, for Kubernetes, container and cloud offerings. And they offer companies in the B2B market to have innovative location-independent systems in the open source market area. And after founding 30 years ago, Nuremberg, you know, the German town with a great Christkindl market, a really nice place. But now, of course, it's SUSE, it's international, and they grew in 2014 and 2015 by acquisitions. And were acquired itself in 2018 and grew further with acquisitions in 2020. You will see a few more of those milestones later on. So welcome to everybody who just stepped in. You're observing here the first price fixing for SUSE, going public this morning on Frankfurt floor and on Xetra. The transaction, it's an IPO. That's an initial public offering that refers to that for the first time shares on the company are offered to a public investors, more than 100, I think it must be, and not just institutional investors. That's the specialty of an IPO. The subscription was between 29 and 34 euros, and the shares were issued at 30 euros each. That leads up to a total offer volume of 1.1 billion euros with a full exercise of the green shoe option. To those who are not familiar with that, a green shoe is the possibility to give out more shares if there's the demand. That implies the 30 euros issue price, and the amount given out implies to a market capitalization of 5 billion euros at trading start. Of course, as soon as the share is traded, then you have a market price, and then you have a market capitalization. That's the price multiplied with the numbers of shares. Of course, then it depends on the market. The free float is expected to be 24.3%. Free float, that's all parts which are held by investors, not having more than 3%. So it's important for investors to have a high free float because then it's more tradable, it's more liquid, the share. And of course, the free float is what counts for participation in one of our selection indices. So that's about the transaction. A very warm welcome to everybody who just stepped in our today's broadcast of the IPO ceremony. SUSE S.A is going public, an open source specialist with a strong leg in the Linux market. And around 9:15, you will have a first price fixing on Frankfurt floor and on Xetra. That's Serhat Gündogan from Baader Bank. He's the specialist taking care of the order book in floor trading. Deutsche Börse runs two markets, Xetra, which is the international platform with the majority of market share in DAX share trading and other German shares. It's fully electronic and has an open order book. That's Xetra. And as the second platform, the traditional one here, what you're observing, where we're standing on, is the Frankfurt floor. It really still has a wooden floor. And it's one of the last trading venues operating a trading floor with people present. There are about 60 specialists working here. You see them behind the booth, in the booth, and around trading stalls. Every security traded in Frankfurt, it's about 1.3 million securities traded here. Every security traded in Frankfurt has an order book that's dealt with by a specialist. It's closed. The specialists publish a quote. That's the bid and ask side, the price offering. If you are selling, you have to look at the left side, the lower one, and if you're buying, you have to look on the right side, the higher one. That's the ask quote. And they published that, and I'm sure around 9 o'clock, Serhat Gündogan from Baader Bank will give out the quote, the indication for SUSE S.A. At the same time, you have a matching range published on Xetra. Xetra has an open order book. You can look at it in the internet. During the auction, the trading day on Xetra starts with an auction. It is closed. And the IPO starts with an IPO auction, which will be finished the earliest at 9:15. It has to be open for all participants to enter their orders, 15 minutes at least, starting at 9 and ending at least, it must be open those 15 minutes. So if you decide now to order, you can enter your order. There will be just a matching range being published outside, and the earliest at 9:15, maybe a little later, but you will see there will be the first price. So welcome to everybody who just stepped in to the going public of SUSE S.A, an open source Linux specialist, not only Linux, but that's their initial market field, and going public in Frankfurt today, Frankfurt Stock Exchange. So any questions just ask. If you observe us via one of the social media platforms, there's a chat. And we are here, a few colleagues of mine and myself, to answer. Deutsche Börse is operating those two markets, as I already explained. It has a lot of other fields it is active in, and this is the cash market, of course, we're talking about here now, the traditional idea of an exchange most people have at the first sight, but it also has a large futures and option markets with the Eurex and the clearing business behind, and calculating the indices, etc., etc., etc. The going public is supported strongly by my colleagues from Issue Services. And there's a network of international investors and advisors around it. So we are rooted in Frankfurt with a really strong sense of local being from here, from this large community, financial community, but also, of course, with a strong international network. There are around 60, I think, up to 70 capital market partners supporting the going public. What you see here with Gerhard Gündogan, it's Thomas Bock, our member of the executive board, who is going to address you later. Around 9 o'clock you can expect the official program here on the stage will start. So we have around 70 capital market partners. They support, if you're a company and thinking about going public here, they support you in all areas, the advisors, legal, and of course us stepping in as well, and banks, of course, everybody who's dealing with the going public and the long process that's ahead of it. And of course we are supporting you as well, so just get in contact. And for the ceremony, of course, we are working all very close together, the whole team here. So I'm happy to be here. My name's Edda, and I will guide you through the next 20 minutes, I would say. The first price fixing for SUSE S.A in Frankfurt, simultaneously on Xetra and on Frankfurt floor. SUSE S.A is going public in Prime Standard. Prime Standard is the most regulated segment we have. It is EU regulated, which refers to the transparency levels, and a company chooses Prime Standard if it addresses international investors, because you have regulations like publications ad hoc in English, and the reporting of the numbers of the business reportings in English as well as in German, and a few more transparency regulations. So if a company chooses its transparency levels, and in the EU regulated market there are two, the Prime Standard and the General Standard, which is a little less regulated. It's more if you address national investors, but if you're going addressing international investors and an international public as well, then you choose the Prime Standard. You see here Gerhard Gündogan, he's specialist for Baader Bank. Baader Bank is one of 8 Wertpapierhandelsbanken, as we call them in German, dealing with the order books here, 1.3 million securities being traded. Of course, the majority is certificates and warrants, but 13,000 shares of companies, around 1,000 German companies, and the rest is international companies included into trading, and they are not a few times off. They're often the most traded shares actually here. It's interesting, but of course it's for you, if you're a German investor, it's easier to trade an American or Canadian or Chinese share here than having an account to access, especially of course if you have foreign countries like China. So welcome to the IPO of SUSE, as far as I learned. It's not SUSE, it's SUSE. I heard from the CEO of SUSE, which you will see later and meet later here in a quite interesting way of preparing a virtual ceremony.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First quote for SUSE AG, 30 to 32 euros. Thank you.
Xetra just published the first quote in the closed order book of floor trading. It's 30 to 32 euros. The left side is the bid side. That's relevant if you are selling, if you're a seller. The right side, the ask side, the 32 euros, that's relevant if you're buying. Prices on exchanges, they're always published in quotes with both sides. And the better, if you're in trading, the better, the narrower the quote, the better for you as an investor. But here now we have an indication. The first price will be in between the 30 and the 32. If not, Xetra has to adjust the quote and we have to wait a little longer. And then he has to publish the adjusted quote. If he just narrows it, if it, for example, goes to 31 to 32, he doesn't have to publish. He has to publish, but he doesn't have to. We don't have to wait. But if he goes to upper side, which happens? Okay, somebody here just told me it's definitely SUSE, as pronounced in German, not SUSE. Okay. I'm happy to have so many visitors, so many viewers here, spectators on
Ladies
our
and
live stream.
gentlemen, good morning from the trading floor of the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. I welcome you all to a very special day because today the green chameleon hits our market. The Handelsblatt called them a couple of weeks ago an unknown giant, yet they are one of the heavyweights in the tech sector and a global leader in their field. Today we are excited to celebrate with all of you the IPO of SUSE. And on behalf of the entire executive board, it's a special pleasure for me to welcome Melissa Di Donato, the entire management team and all employees of SUSE, but of course also all the investors, media partners and customers and all of those watching our live stream this morning here. It is great to see you all joining here, us in Frankfurt today, even if it's again just virtually. SUSE is a pioneer in the field of IT and open source. It has a strong track record, but even more importantly, a promising future, now as a listed company. And today, all eyes are on you, SUSE, and in just a few minutes, we will announce SUSE listed in Frankfurt. It's a great pleasure for me now to hand over to Melissa Di Donato, CEO of SUSE. She has prepared some digital greetings for us.
Hello to everyone at the Deutsche Börse, members of the media, and all of you joining us from all around the world. My name is Melissa Di Donato, and I'm the CEO of SUSE. SUSE is a global independent leader in open source software. Many of the world's largest organizations rely on us every day for their most mission-critical IT applications and workloads. Our customers represent more than 60% of the Fortune 500. They include 10 of the 10 largest auto manufacturers, which, for example, represent 71% of all cars being sold in the EU. Some of our customers in this space include VW, Daimler, BMW, Toyota, and Ford. 13 out of the 15 world's largest manufacturers, including Siemens, Bosch, Samsung, and GE. 5 out of the 5 largest tech players, including Microsoft and Dell. 9 of the 10 largest retailers. This includes Aldi, Walmart, and CVS. And these are only just a few examples. Today is a historical moment for SUSE as we make our debut on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. There is no better place to list SUSE than in Frankfurt. We are a German success story. Nearly 3 decades ago, SUSE started as a local open source company in Nuremberg, where we're still headquartered. And we've grown to become a global open source innovator. Today, it feels like we've come full circle. And speaking of today, with the world around us radically different from just 1 year ago, We've had to rethink how we celebrate our IPO. We've reinvented this entire listing experience the SUSE way. And I am so excited to share this special moment with you. I hope you're ready. I know all of us at SUSE are ready. I hope you enjoy today's experience.
Thank you, Melissa Di Donato. It is great to have you here in Frankfurt, and as you so nicely put it, there is no better place to list than here in Frankfurt. Thank you for choosing us. And you are in good company here. As Bloomberg recently wrote, Frankfurt is a strong contender for Europe's top spot. Over recent weeks, we've seen several listings that have achieved global attention, among them the unicorn IPO of Auto1, a leading digital automotive platform, but also the mammoth IPO of Vantage Towers, Vodafone Group's tower business, and the laboratory operator SynLab just a few days ago, to mention only a few transactions that have achieved a lot of attention. And this all shows Frankfurt is attractive for a huge variety of companies and listing options from various sectors and different sizes. And we are proud now to have you, SUSE, here in Frankfurt. Your IPO is another important signal for Germans, but also for the European capital market. The listing of a leading company from the tech sector with such a strong record as a pioneer and with great innovation power and huge growth ambition makes this signal even stronger. Fostering innovation is SUSE's DNA. SUSE is a pioneer in open source software since its foundation 30 years ago. And something that feels quite normal today, giving software and applications away for free to build an ecosystem, was still a revolutionary idea in the 90s. In those days, software was strictly a commercial product sold for money, and the idea to put it into a community and unleash the power of collaboration was totally new. In reading about open source, you come across the principle of duocracy. Those who put their work and commitment, the doers, also decide. An intriguing concept. And since then, open source has become a dominant force in the software sector. And SUSE has proven that still you can build a very successful business model by creating your own open source ecosystem and providing essential services. And you remain home to thousands of developers who want to leverage the power of open source to change the world. And then when I looked at your website over the weekend, I was excited to see the countdown clock ticking, but a closer look showed me it was the countdown to your SUSECon conference, which is ongoing right now in parallel, and it shows it's all about the ecosystem for you. Today, SUSE has grown from packaging free-of-charge software into a global market leader in open source and in critical fields of the future. High performance computing, edge computing, cloud, and artificial intelligence are your growth drivers. And the who is who of companies is today among SUSE's clients and trusts you and relies on SUSE in mission-critical IT applications. Your community and your technology powers the global economy, something we have in common. Our community is investors, corporates, financial institutions such as issuers and more. And for them, Deutsche Börse provides access and liquidity in global capital markets. And market infrastructure operators like us, first and foremost, are technology businesses. State-of-the-art IT solutions are at the heart of all our offerings for price execution, for post-trade services like clearing and settlement. And therefore, we share with you the passion for technology and innovation, which are so critical for our future. But let me come back to today's news, the IPO of SUSE. It was a long and winding road that led you here. There are rumors around that SUSE already started to think about an IPO at the end of the 90s, and since then you've seen a number of changes in your ownership, But now, finally, you are here as a 5 billion market cap tech company. Who would have thought? And today marks the start of a new chapter in your corporate history as an independent and listed company. We are convinced that your capital market listing will support your goal of remaining the leading independent open source company for infrastructure software. And this IPO will give you the credibility and the platform of a listed company. It makes the value that you create day by day tangible and visible for your shareholders, for your clients, and also for your employees, day by day. And it empowers all of them to tackle the world's greatest challenges with your technology. And we are really happy to be part of this important corporate milestone for you and the long work that has brought you to today. And we will continue to support you in your activities on the capital market. And with the Prime Standard, you have chosen the stock exchange segment with the highest transparency standards in Europe. And now you're a candidate for DAX and the stock selection indices, the indices that the asset managers are investing their money in. And it will significantly further increase the international visibility of your brand. Trust me, you won't be the unknown giant from Nuremberg any longer. We are convinced that your listing on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange will support your success story going forward and also will open up new sources of funding. I wish you and your company a successful start and, even more importantly, a positive long-term performance on our market. And let me now proudly initiate the highlight of this IPO ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, the countdown for the first prize determination of SUSE starts now.
You just listened to the welcome speech from Thomas Borg, member of the executive board of Deutsche Börse, where
we started with a single line of code. To transform the world. We are open to run your city's infrastructure, to drive you home safely, hands-free, to forecast earthquakes from space, to understand human DNA. Open to empower the world. Open source opens doors. And now we're going public. Come with us.
back to Frankfurt floor. We're still waiting a few minutes. They had Gundogan is on the phone. You just saw a very impressive 3D scan of Deutsche Börse building, which SUSE provided for today, and wrote milestones on our building, which is from the end of the 19th century. An impressive contrast. latest technology in this old classic building. Now we have 9:15 here on the floor, and it could be technically, from the regulations, we could end the IPO auction, but of course this is errant.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. First prize for SUSE S.A, 29 euros, spot 50. Congratulations to the listing in Frankfurt.
And that's it. Congratulations from all of us to SUSE for the going public, for being listed here for the first prize of 29.50. Now in Xetra you have an opening auction after the IPO auction, and here on Frankfurt floor immediately trading can start. We wish all success for the future to SUSE, and congratulations to the successful going public here, rooted in Frankfurt, at home in Europe, and connected to the world.
Congratulations, everyone. We've started trading on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. This is the start of an incredible journey that we've been speaking about. Remember, there are endless possibilities ahead of us, and I am so excited. I think we're now ready to ring that bell, but let's be clear. The power of many brought us here, and we will celebrate with the power of many today. We have invited the entire SUSE team to ring the bell with me. Come and join me, team. Everyone's coming in. We've got Andy and Shang and Shannon, Wojciech. I see so many of our chameleons and our colleagues joining in the celebration. Janet, Mornay, April. As more and more of our colleagues join in, we are ready to officially mark our IPO. This is absolutely incredible. You can see that our bell is now complete. How awesome is that? Are you ready? I know that I am. Let's ring that bell. Yay, we did it! As Martin Wolf always cheers on to me when he says we do something so great. To my SUSE team, I am honored to be your CEO and to share this moment with all of you. I could not be prouder of where we are today. I'd like to thank you for everything you've given to this company. Our products, our solutions, our culture, our ethos, everything that makes us great is all about you. To the world, thank you for celebrating with us today. I believe we have the right people, and we definitely have the right purpose. We will continue to surprise and to amaze you. Let me conclude with this. The ability to innovate everywhere has never been more important. This is exactly why SUSE is here. We have the power of many by our side. Mark my word, today is just the beginning. Congratulations, everyone.
There was Melissa Di Donato, CEO from SUSE, successfully gone public on Frankfurt and Xetra this morning with a very impressive XR studio production. You've seen latest technology in one of the oldest exchanges in the world. Now we are coming to an end of this broadcast ceremony. Here you just a little explanation what's happening here. Quite normal that the prices are going down a little first. On Xetra you have here an open order book. It's the 5 best bid best ask limits. On the left side, you see the bids, the limit orders by other market participants with their prices. They say, like the above, we had 1,500. I forgot. 28, I think it was. It was the highest bid limit was 28 for 1,500 units. And on the right side, it will come back in a moment. On the right side, you had the best ask limits on the ask side. That's when you're buying. Those are the price limits from others in the order book of other market participants like you selling. And as soon as it matches in the middle, then it will be executed. That's continuous trading. And if somebody puts in a market order, an order without a limit, then it will be executed right away. So you see here the open Xetra order book. You can observe it in real time the whole day, the whole first trading day. Just go on ipo.börse-frankfurt.de on the English version. And then you have the open order book and the prices and the trading of the first trading day in real time open for everybody to look at. Happy and congrats again. Congratulations to the company, to SUSE, who went public this morning, and wish them a great time being public. And thank you to everybody here for being present. And have a great day.